So I finished Superman and Lois Season 3, and originally I wasn't going to talk about it, but something came up in the show that compelled me to do just that. Now, I watch Superman and Lois every season, and I do enjoy it quite a bit, but I do believe its quality is overblown by the fan base. Like, I really think the majority of its praise comes from the fact that it's just so much better than any of the other CW shows, but I don't really consider that a particularly high bar. At the end of the day, Superman and Lois is still a CW show. It has a lot of the same contrivances that those do. Fight scenes are god-awful with not a whole lot of thought put behind them. Characters will just all of a sudden forget that they have certain powers so that the story can move forward. Problems that you could solve in like 5 minutes if you just stop to think about them for a second end up getting stretched out to last the whole season, just because the writers want to fill the season up with some kind of plot thread. Overall, the show has a lot of problems. However, I can look past most of these flaws because the drama and the family dynamic is actually really well done. I really like the relationship that they build between these characters. And I've been saying since pretty much season 1 that this show is at its best when it's dealing with the family drama, not the Superman stuff. And it seems like the creators of the show agree, because whereas season 1 and 2 were about half and half Superman stuff to family dynamics, this one sort of lessened the Superman stuff and made it almost entirely a family drama with like some Superman things on occasion. And the scene we're going to be talking about today is exactly that. Very dramatic scene between a husband and wife that elevates this show into something far greater than the other CW shows. So just a heads up, this is going to be very, very heavy spoilers. I'm going to spoil the scene in question as well as any plot points connected to the scene. And I'm going to start that right now. So in season 3 of Superman and Lois, Lois gets cancer. This is not the B plot. This is the main plot of the story. Pretty much every episode is at least 70% dedicated to this. The Superman stuff is an afterthought at best. And the scene I'm about to show you is a private moment between Lois and Clark that I think is very impressively done. So to give you some added context for the scene, by this point in the story, Lois has had breast cancer for quite some time. She's already gone through all of her chemo, and this is the night before she's supposed to go in for her breast cancer surgery, which is basically them removing both of her breasts. Throughout the entire episode, both Lois and Clark have been kind of avoiding talking about this to one another. Clark being a little too overly optimistic and just acting like absolutely nothing is wrong, and Lois just refusing to talk about the way she feels about it at all. And the scene I'm about to show is where they finally open up to one another. So check it out.
I've been thinking about what you said earlier.
Clark is fine.
No, you need to hear this. When I said that you were beautiful in that dress, I wasn't talking about your body. I was talking about you. Who you are, your heart, your passion. Lois, you amaze and inspire me every single day.
You were also talking about my body.
Yeah, because I love your body. And I will always love your body.
Even when it's all scarred up?
Even then.
Can we at least stop pretending like it's not gonna be weird?
Babe, whatever scars you might have, they're just symbols that you survived. And they're why I still get to have you. That surgery's gonna save your life, and there's nothing more beautiful to me than that.
What if it makes me feel different? What if I don't want to be intimate anymore?
We'll figure it out.
Clark, it's not that simple. Sex is a big part of our marriage.
I know. And when you're ready, so am I. There's not a doubt in my mind we'll get back to that someday. We're in this together, babe. And I promise you we're gonna come out of it stronger.
Do you want to cuddle?
Yeah.
We may just be cuddling for a while, okay?
You're all I ever need, babe.
This is an absolutely beautiful scene. You would expect something like this to appear in a serious family drama, like a This Is Us or Modern Love. For something like this to be in a Superman show is kind of crazy. I just couldn't help watching this scene and thinking that it just feels so much more authentic than I'm used to these drama scenes and superhero series feeling. In my Barbie video, I touched on the idea of women empowerment and how that isn't always the best idea in storytelling, and this scene kind of goes along with that. Normally with a plotline like this where a woman has cancer and she's having to fight through it, it's a ripe opportunity for female empowerment. The movie or show in question would be shot, filmed, and written in a way that would try to give this sort of good feeling to all women who watch it. This sort of inspiring and prideful feeling that would make them feel like they could take on the whole world. The scene would do a decent job at making women feel good about themselves, but it wouldn't be particularly authentic to how these types of things actually happen. But this show doesn't take that route. It decides to show Lois in a very vulnerable state and allow her to share thoughts and feel feelings that a real woman would have. My issue with women empowerment a lot of times in these types of stories is that it's not actually how women feel in that particular scenario. I'm sure it's how they wish they would feel. Just like most men would wish that they were Rambo or John McClane. But that's just not the case. In this scene, Lois isn't just scared about the cancer and the possibility of dying. She's scared that once her breasts are removed, that her husband won't be able to look at her the same way anymore, that it'll affect their marriage and their sex life and break down their family. She's worried about being scarred up and hideous and not being comfortable with her body. Early in the show, Lois has a conversation with Lana Lang where she confesses that the cancer has stripped everything away from her that she used to love. She no longer feels like herself or the person that she was. She feels less capable, less feminine, and she's afraid that once she goes through the surgery and her breasts are removed, she'll never feel like a woman again. Her mind races through all sorts of thoughts and feelings that just feels so authentic to what a woman in this position would actually feel. The scene isn't afraid of making Lois scared, vulnerable, needing the support of her husband and family. The show didn't feel the need to make her some kind of boss babe who could take on the world without any support. People need support. There's nothing wrong with that, and I really love how it's shown here. On the flip side, Clark might be the best support system I've ever seen written in a show, period. The way he stands by her and comforts her during this time is absolutely beautiful. And this coming from a character who previously in the season couldn't understand why people were so scared of cancer because he himself straight up can't get it, shows a lot of growth on his part. The scene simultaneously feels real while also writing the characters in a way that you would want your family to act if you had to go through the same situation. And even in the best superhero shows, you really don't see this level of drama being done. And it elevates what really should be an average to below average superhero show into something far beyond that. And it reminds me why people love this show so much. Throughout all the issues that I have in this season, and trust me, there are plenty. Things like this scattered throughout the 3 seasons always has me coming back to this show when I'm thinking about what my favorite superhero shows today are. It might not have the quality of something like a Daredevil or a Peacemaker, but honestly, the way it does drama just feels way more real than either of those shows do. And it always has me looking forward to the next seasons, regardless of how many problems I have with the current one. If you haven't watched Superman and Lois, start watching Superman and Lois. If you're already watching Superman and Lois, tell me what you think about it. Do you love the drama in the show, or do you hate it and you wish Superman would just punch more things? Anyway, that's gonna be all from me. If you're a fan of Superman, keep an eye on the channel, because I'm watching My Adventures with Superman right now, and I'm definitely gonna make a video about that. I got a lot of thoughts on it. So do me a favor, like, subscribe, and y'all be safe out there, you hear?